Om Apyayantum mamangani vakpranashchakshukshrotram atho balamindriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam mama brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastva nirakaranam mestu tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu Dharmaste mai santu, te mai santu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So, Kena Upanishad belongs to Jaimini Upanishad, Brahmana. It's a part of Brahmana, which is the commentary on Samaveda. It's Samaveda school. That's why we have this Shantipatha from Samaveda, Apyayanto Mamangani,
Yeah, it
differentiating.
was different. It's a different invocation you did, right? It was like a prayer.
Yeah, it is. It belongs to Samaveda. All the texts from Samaveda start with this Shantipatha. Yeah, it has its own meaning. Apyayantu mamangani. May my limbs grow strong. Yeah. Vak pranach, chakshuk, shrotram, my speech, my breath, my seeing and hearing. Atho balamindriyani chasarvani, and force and all the indriyas. Yeah, indriyani chasarvani. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam, because this Upanishad is about all Brahman. Yeah. So it's Jaimini Upanishad Brahman. It's quite interesting in one regard. It's considered to be it is considered to be the most ancient Upanishad, one of the most ancient, together with Isha, Taittiriya, and Aitareya. These four, because it is part of Brahmana. And Sri Aurobindo wrote an extensive commentary on it, which is profound in psychological sense. Yes, it's one of the most interesting commentaries for psychologists to study. So let us look into it, what it says. Kene shitam patati preshitam mana. Kena pranav prathamav praiti yuktaha. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. Chakshukshrotam ka udevo yunakti. So it starts with this question, Kena. Kena means by whom or by what. It's instrumental case, questioning word, yes? By whom or by what? So by what or by whom Ishitam missioned, Patati falls or flies, Preshitam sent falls, Manach thought or mind. Sri Aurobindo translates, by whom missioned falls the mind short to its mark. It's a quite big question. Yeah? By whom kind of the mind or the thought or the logic is directed to its aim. Who is directing our logical mind to arrive at its aim, its purpose, its meaning? Who actually directs it? Why it should go there and not somewhere else? Kena pranav prathamav praiti yuktaha, by whom yoked moves the first life breath forward on its paths. You know, when we are born, the first thing we do, we breathe in. Yeah. So by whom yoked the breath to this body? Who is doing that yoking? Why that breath should stick to this clay and then make it alive? So when we are born, we breathe in, and when we die, we breathe out, so to say. So this is all our life, breathing in and out twice, or one time in, one time out. Mm.
Yeah.
So
So life is
life,
just one breath.
right,
Life is one breath.
right. It is. There is nothing else. Only these two. Of course, there is kumbhaka also.
Yes.
There is a holding breath in between. So who is that? Who is that force which connects the living breath or the life force to this clay, to this body? And when the child is born, sometimes it doesn't want to breathe out, to breathe in. So what they do, they slap it slightly on the back, on the bum usually. And so the child is doing crying, and that what was blocking the lungs comes out, and then it can breathe in, and life starts with breathing in. If before the breathing in, there is no life possible. There are many interesting things. When Adam was created by God, what God did is, he put into that clay the breath. So when the God breathes out, the clay started to breathe in. Yeah? So who is that? Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. By whom impelled is this word that men speak? So who is making the choice of the words we speak in the moment of time? Why should I say this and not that? Why did I say this in this moment and not some other word? Who decided this? Who made this decision? It's a profound, these are profound questions, by the way, all of them. They are like koans, in this tradition, which how the one slap of one palm sounds. Yes, this is the
Then by
question.
yeah.
Yeah. This type of questions, who is this? Yes, who makes mind fly to its objectives, to its logical conclusion? Who is making us speak what we say? Who is tying the life force to this body? And Chakshukshrodram ka udevo yunakti, who is the God who connects hearing and seeing to their workings. It's quite interesting that hearing and seeing, comprehensive and comprehensive cognition, apprehensive is seeing, comprehensive is hearing. Who connects these two fundamentals of cognition of the form and its meaning? Or we can simplify in the physical terms. When I slap, why that what you see is corresponding with what you hear. Who made that connection? And then it continues. So we will have the answer to these questions in this chapter. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yadvacho vacham so pranasya pranach chakshuratimuchya dhiraha pretyasma lokadam rita bhavanti. That which is hearing of our hearing, mind of our mind, speech of our speech, that too is life of our life breath and sight of our sight. The wise are released beyond, and they pass from this world and become immortal. Now, this doesn't answer anything, yes? You don't see answer here. And actually, the text is quite difficult to comprehend. The hearing of our hearing, the mind of our mind, and that speech of our speech, and also prana of our prana. and chakshu of our chakshu, seeing of our seeing, atimuchya, having become free, dhiraha, the wise, pretya, having left this body or having gone, asmat lokat, from this world, amrita bhavanti, become immortal. Sri Aurobindo will be referring to these: hearing of our hearing, mind of our mind, thought, seeing of our seeing. Notice that the whole Upanishad is about the faculties of consciousness. By the way, it is on this ground that we actually developed what we call the integral paradigm of knowledge, on the faculties of consciousness. Upanishads do not deal with consciousness as abstraction. They deal with consciousness as faculties. So for them, consciousness is speech of our speech, mind of our mind, sight of our sight, hearing of our hearing, breath of our breath. So something behind these indriyas, as we know them in Sankhya, we call them indriyas in Sankhya, but they are not indriyas here. And notice it's quite interesting, even in this apyayantu mamangani, vak, pranach, chakshu, shrotram, these are the faculties. Atho balam indriyani cha sarvani, and also all indriyas. So the indriyas in the Upanishadic thinking, in Brahmanic thinking, is something else than these faculties. Or some additional kind of qualities of these faculties, let us say this way. So when these faculties are turned without, they are becoming, as we know them as indriyas. They become indriyas for us. Yeah? So indriya is an interesting word also. It's that which belongs to Indra, to the divine mind. So the divine mind is entering into this manifestation through his indriyas. These indriyas, as Sri Aurobindo says, they are infinite. They are pervading the whole universe. They are everywhere. Seeing, hearing are everywhere. The comprehensive and apprehensive cognition is pervading the whole universe, seeing and hearing. And also speaking and thinking, and also living, breathing. The life force is everywhere. So they're infinite indriyas, as Sri Aurobindo says, commenting on Sankhya. They are infinite. They are not only the organs of our sight and hearing. This is not an ear and eye. It is the faculty of seeing and hearing. And faculty of seeing and hearing can exist without organs even. We can see and hear in the subtle worlds.
Like in dreams.
In dreams, absolutely. Seeing and hearing in dreams, and even speaking in dreams, and thinking in dreams, and even feeling in dreams, prana. We are totally functional in dreams in these faculties, with these faculties. And this is only dreams. We can go in beyond. We can go into the mental worlds, into the higher mind. And there is speaking, there is hearing, there is seeing. So all these faculties, from the highest to the lowest, from the supramental seeing as revelation, drishti, and hearing, shruti, as inspiration, supramental force, like Saraswati is supramental inspirational hearing, yes? That comprehensive hearing, knowledge, is the force of the supermind. So from the highest drishti, and supermind is the mind of the supreme, yes, supramental mind, also mind, manas, on that level, and the word which Sri Aurobindo constantly refers in Savitri, he was waiting for the fiat of the Supreme to arrive from above. Yeah? This is the command, the Adesh. So all these faculties are not only indriyas, yes, turned, or the organs. They pervade our inner worlds to the highest, from the highest to the lowest. And on the lowest physical level, they build organs known to us as eye, ear, yeah, tongue, brain, the whole nervous system, the body. So because of these faculties, this body is what it is. You know? This body is nothing but the embodiment of these faculties. Otherwise, it would not exist. Why do we need the body if there is no seeing, hearing, speaking, thinking, feeling? Yeah, and
I had a quick question here. Are these faculties also determined by karmic tendencies? Like, some people are born without a certain
everything is determined, yes, by karmic and tendencies. In the later thinking, especially karmic tendencies, because in the Vedic we don't have them yet in that form. It is later this way of thinking that karma, whatever you did, becomes the consequence for the next. Yes, it becomes the ground on which you start developing the next. So it determines your behavior and your way of seeing and doing and responding and so on. And it's quite logical. It's a logical development of the system,
yeah.
which is, quite obvious. And since we don't have any other faculties, only these, they are limited in number actually. They're not all the whatever faculties. That's not whatever. There are only limited 6 major faculties: seeing, hearing, speaking, thinking, feeling. Yeah? Feeling means living and being in the body. Annam pranam chakshukshrotra manovachamiti. If you remember Taittiriya, this was the definition by Bhrigu when he was approaching his father Varuna to explain to him Brahman. And Brahman was defined as the 6 major faculties. And here they are again, all of them. So Upanishads are constantly dealing with these faculties. Whatever Upanishad you open, except Isha and maybe even Mandukya, where there is about Om, everywhere it will be something on each page, something about these faculties. By the way, I started to do something about about them in Savitri. I started to look into Savitri, and I found amazing what Sri Aurobindo is doing. He's constantly dealing with these faculties throughout. On each page of Savitri, you find 10 references to these faculties. Just check it out. You will be surprised. We just don't notice it because we don't think in those terms. Yeah? He defines how we think, the word, the mind, the view, how we see in the corridors, the silence, how we listen. He listened to the silence. He listened to the word. He was revealing he saw the vision. He constantly, because what else can we do? How else consciousness can act? There is no other way for consciousness to act. These are the major activities or faculties of consciousness. So the whole IPK is in integral paradigm of knowledge concept, was about developing these faculties to the utmost, that they will be able to reveal the innermost qualities. So they are the connection between the spirit and our physical world, embodied state. Yeah. So that's why he says Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Mano, Yadvacho Havacham, that which is hearing of our hearing. What is hearing of our hearing? Interesting, yeah? Seeing of our seeing, mind of our mind. Mind of our mind is the supermind. Yeah? Sri Aurobindo says to understand this mind, we need to know the supermind. We cannot understand the mind without discovering the supermind. Mind is absolutely beyond our understanding. Yeah? We cannot really comprehend what mind is until we discover the supermind. And then we understand, oh, this is the action of the supermind in the embodied state in time and space. That's what it is. It's a projection of the supramental quality, faculty of focusing consciousness on any object of sense, which comes from the supramental characteristic feature of the supermind. So the same with the word. What is the word? Why we speak words? Why I have to express myself at all? Because there is a need of self-expression, which is the highest need, which is expressed in every creature in this universe. In plants and animals, they all want to express themselves, communicate something. So this communication and self-expression is the faculty of the highest consciousness. So we continue. Natatra chakshurgachati, their sight does not go. Navagachati, their word is not going. No mano, neither mind. Navidmo navijanimo, we do not know, we do not discern. Yathaitad anushishyat, how to teach about it. Anya deva tad viditad, because it is different from what is known. Atho aviditadadhi, and it is higher than unknown. It is different from what is known, and it is different from what is unknown. Even unknown is not helping here, because whatever we don't know, it is not about that. So that is something else, even different from our not knowing. So this is a very good indication that we should not try to kind of figure out because we don't know, then maybe somewhere there. No, it's not there even. Iti shushrumat purvesham. Thus we heard from the first rishis, yenas tad vyacha chakshiri, who explained this to us, who revealed this to us. So it is different from the known, it is different from the unknown. And now this profound passage of the first chapter, Yadvachana bhyuditam yena vaga bhyudyate tadeva brahma tvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. Maybe I will read the whole thing. Yadvachana bhyuditam yena vaga bhyudyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate yan manasana manute yena hurmano matam tadeva brahma tvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate yat chakshushana pashyati yena chakshunshi pashyati tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate Yat shrotrena nashrunoti yena shrotramidam shrutam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate yat pranena na praniti yena pranav praniyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. So you can see that this is the same format. That which is not expressed, spoken by the word, but by which the word is spoken, that is Brahman. That you know, and not what people worship here. So it cannot be expressed by the word, but because of it, the word is speaking. It cannot be spoken by the word, but because of the Brahman, the word, we speak the word. It is in the speaking of the word that the Brahman is present, and not, we cannot speak Brahman as the object. It is the subject of our speaking, as it were.
Mm.
Yanmanasana manute, which is not thought by the mind. Yanahur manomatam, but by which, as they say, the mind is thought. Tadeva Brahma. That is indeed Brahman. So it is by which the mind is, let us say, thinking. When we are thinking, it is by that we are thinking.
Mm.
So since we are thinking by that, how can we think that? Yeah, we can't. It will be already there in the very process of thinking. So we can't make it an object of our thought, because while we are thinking, it's already there. Yet chakshushana pashyati, which is not seen by the eye, or by it, one does not see it by eye. Yena chakshunshi pashyati, but by which the eyes are seeing, let us say. That is Brahman. So when we see, it is by Brahman. Because of Brahman we see, because of Brahman we hear, because of Brahman we speak. Yet shrotrena na shrunoti, yena shrotramidam shrutam, tadeva Brahma, which is not heard by the hearing, but by which the hearing is hearing, let us say, or everything is heard by the hearing because of him, that is Brahman. Yet pranena na praniti, which is not breathed by the breath, by which the breath is led forward or is breathing. That is Brahman, thus you know, and not what people follow after here. Here Sri Aurobindo gives interesting footnote. That which one thinks not with the mind, that which one sees not with the eye, that which one hears not with the ear, that which one breathes not with the breath, but by which the breath is breathing, by which the ear is hearing, by which the eye is seeing, and by which the mind is thinking. So what I want to say is a profound message here. We are constantly exercising the spirit uninterruptedly. When we think, feel, see, hear, Brahman is present right now, all the time. So we should not direct these faculties to find the Brahman. We should sense the presence of Brahman in their activities. And we can feel it immediately. That's why we all have seeing, we all have hearing, because the spirit is throughout present everywhere. It is this universal Purusha's faculties of universal Purusha, which we all share in our individual frameworks.
If we sense it always, we would always be an indrawn state.
Yeah.
It draws you in, it doesn't let the mind go out.
Yeah.
It's like one part of you just stays within when you sense like this.
Yes. All the time, the activities of these faculties are charged with the presence of Brahman. You could feel the presence of the spirit. You don't need to seek it with your mind, with your eye, with your hearing, with your thought, with your feelings. It is there when you feel, it is there when you see. It is by it you see, hear. So this is the exercise of the enterprise of the Spirit. We exercise the presence of the Spirit all the time, being unaware of it, looking for it as an object of worship. This is a profound psychological truth, yeah? Very simple, very direct, very concrete, very practical. Has nothing to do with some kind of theory or philosophy. It's not a philosophy. It's a profound psychology, direct and immediate in effect. It cannot be more immediate because we all speak, think, feel, see, hear, and this is the Spirit here, present, right now, and always. And even if we go to the dream state, and if we go even beyond to the supramental state, he will be there in every way. Okay, we are moving to the second part of this Upanishad. Yadi manyase, if you have some question or want to share, you can always interrupt. You're most welcome to interrupt. I see only Jayashri, other side don't see Stacy and Sandy, but I guess they are there.
Vladimir, when you were reading the Sanskrit continuously, it was just like it was pulling you up. The sound, the effect of the sound of the words was very meditative.
Yeah, these Upanishads, I guess, they have their own power because they're read for thousands of years by millions of Brahmins all over India with adoration, with concentration of the spiritual mind. Definitely, they have their power, intrinsic power.
Yes.
And the second part, yadi manyase suvedeti dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshvathanumimansyameva te manye viditam naham manye suvedeti nona vedeti veda cha yonas tadveda nona vedeti veda cha Yasyamatam tasyamatam matam yasya naveda saha avijñatam vijanatam vijñatam avijanatam pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate mritam iha cheda veditatha satyamasti na chediha vedid mahati vinashtihi Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha pretyasman lokadamrita bhavanti. So this is chapter 2, very short one. We will take it today. If you think yadimanyase suveda iti, I know it well. If thou thinkest that thou knowest it well, little indeed dost thou know the form of the Brahman. Dabhrameva. Dabhram is the pinch of grass, yeah, the few blades of grass. Evapi nunam. Now, tvam vetha, you know, of the form of Brahman. So you have few peanuts, let's say, of the form of Brahman, you know. If you say, if you think I know well, then you know a few peanuts, yeah, of the form of Brahman, no, nothing of the Brahman at all. Yadasya tvam, what is you? Yadasya devesho, and what is in the gods? Athanu mimansyam evate. That is to be discovered, to be studied. Manye viditam, I think it known. So we have to think out what is you and what is in the gods. This is something very interesting because what Sri Aurobindo does here, he speaks about two realities, two fundamental realities, the self and the Lord. The self is the being and the Lord is consciousness. So what belongs to you? It is the self, Atman, you as the being, as the body, as the embodied state of being. And what belongs to the faculties of consciousness, these are the gods, Deveshu. The gods are the faculties in the Upanishads. That's what Sri Aurobindo says. There are no other gods, only the faculties. Seeing, hearing, speaking, thinking, these are the gods. And what belongs to the gods? And the gods are actually the faculties of the Purusha, of the Lord. They all came out of Purusha. Nothing from Atman, they didn't come out. Yeah? Atman is the source of all existence. It is what it is. And from him the Purusha was created. Atman created Purusha, which generated faculties, according to Aitareya, as you remember. Yeah? So Atman was at the beginning, he pulled out Purusha from the lower waters, heated it up, and the faculties came out. These faculties represent Purusha. They represent the Lord. These are the devatas, the gods. Yeah? So that's what Upanishad says. We have to examine what belongs to the self and what belongs to the Lord, what belongs to the being and what belongs to consciousness. And these are the only two fundamental realities, being and consciousness.
This is very important to understand this. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Very important, yes.
And especially for Indian philosophy, yes. The difference between Atman and Purusha, between the self and the Lord. Yes. Later they are identified usually, yeah? Self and the Lord, Atman and Purusha, Purusha and Atman, they are kind of interchangeable always in our thinking. But if we have this distinction once, so we will always see slight difference. Yeah? Because of course, being and consciousness are one and the same on the highest level, yeah, but still there is some fundamental difference between them. And they generate what we know as tapas, and tapas generates, as we know, Ananda. Ananda is the emanation of the state of conscious existence. It's a natural emanation of the state of conscious existence. The more we are consciously existing, the more bliss is emanated. It's the formula of happiness, conscious existence. There is no other formula. One cannot be more happy than to be conscious. Actually, it corresponds to all traditions. You will see here in Buddhism is coming the same way. Yes? Their happiness comes from the awareness.
Yes. They talk about that. Awareness. They talk about it as awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then, Naham manye suvedeti, nona vedeti vedacha. This is something very subtle. Yonastad veda tad veda nona vedeti vedacha. You can feel already the play of the words. I do not consider, I don't think I think not, Shimendra translates, that I know it well. Suveda iti. I don't think that I know it perfectly or well. And yet, nona vedeti vedacha. I know that it is not unknown to me. I would translate literally. And I don't know that I don't know. I don't think that I know it well, but I don't know that I don't know. So, and Shibindu translates it to explain to us, and I know that it is not unknown to me at the same time. So, this subtle difference between not knowing totally perfectly till the end, yeah, and at the same time not knowing that we do not know because something is going on. Yeah? So there is this slight gap between the two, claiming the knowledge and claiming not knowing. Yeah? You can't claim neither. You can't claim that you know, and you can't claim that you don't know. Yeah? Look how beautiful Upanishad deals with this. It's much more beautiful than even Socrates, that I know only that I don't know. Yeah?
Yes.
That is much more kind of mental.
Yeah.
Here, it is more spiritual.
Mm.
Huh? I don't know perfectly, and I don't know that I don't know. So, and it leaves that state in which we may come to knowledge. Because when I claim that I don't know, or I claim that I know well, I block the way of knowledge. Yeah?
Mm.
Because the knowledge is always alive, it's always an experience. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na veda sahid continues. Yeah, Jonas tad veda tad veda. He of us who knows it knows that. He knows that it is not unknown to him. He knows that it is not unknown to him. And there will be the conclusion of this chapter, very beautiful on this, that it is not unknown. Nothing is totally unknown to us here in this world, in this manifestation. Even the divine is not totally unknown to us because we are the divine. We just don't know yet about the totally. So yasya matam, yasya amatam, by whom it is not thought out or considered, tasya matam, by him it is considered and thought out. Matam yasya, but by whom it is thought, naveda saha, he doesn't know. The one who thought it out does not know. The one who did not think it out, it is known to him. Yeah? Avijñatam vijanatam, vijñatam avijanatam. It is unknown to the discernment of those who discern of it, by those who seek not to discern of it, it is discerned. Sri Aurobindo again explains here, it's more literal in this way. Avijñatam, it is undiscerned by those who discern. So they discern him as undiscerned. And Vijñatam, it is discerned by those who do not discern of him. So we can discern of the Spirit as only in one way, that it is undiscerned. This is our discernment. We can have only that discernment. It cannot be discerned. Can we be with this? Can our mind accept this, that there is a perception of undiscerned state? And that is the spiritual state. Can't be discerned.
It makes you feel that you're always in a state of not knowing, and you have to be comfortable with that.
Right. Not knowing, but also not knowing.
Hmm.
You are not discerning, but you are not knowing, because knowing is a big word, yeah?
Yes, yes, it's got it.
Mhm.
Very true. Very subtle difference, though, right?
Very subtle and very beautiful, because to express this in words is quite impossible, really. And then, pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. When it is known by perception that reflects it, pratibodha viditam, then one has the thought of it, matam amritatvam hi vindate, for one finds immortality. By the self, atmana vindate viryam, one finds the force to attain, and by the knowledge, vidyaya, one finds immortality, vindate mritam. Now, on this verse, Sri Aurobindo has the whole article, and it's quite interesting what he says here, because it's packed with meaning. He says amazing thing. Though it is undiscerned, we can discern the spirit as undiscerned only, and we cannot claim to know it, and we cannot claim not to know it. Still, Brahman wants to be known to us. This is something interesting. Brahman wants to be known to us, so to say. He wants us to know him. And because of that, that subtle kind of manifesting dynamic Brahman state, pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. So when it is known by perception, that reflects it. So what Brahman does, according to Sri Aurobindo, it creates in our mind the means by which he can be reflected in our mind. So this is the philosophy of Upanishads. This is the means the Brahman has created in our mind, that we, by those instruments, may approach him or know a glimpse of him, a reflection of him in our consciousness, in our surface consciousness.
That's why the
Then,
whole,
yeah,
sorry, I
yeah,
just
go.
wanted a clarification here. That's why they say that the whole universe is a reflection of the Brahman.
Yes, yes, it is in a way. He wants
He
that.
wants us to know.
Yes, he wants to be there, to be known, and not only to be known, he wants to reveal his fullness in this manifestation. Yeah? And that's why he kind of presses upon us to know him, to, to be known to us more and more. Then one has the thought of it. Then only we get thinking about him. And the thinking about him changes our life. We cannot be any more the same if we get that true luminous thought of the Spirit. We are caught by him already. So we will be always seeking that thought, that reflection of the Spirit. We will be looking for the divine from now on. For one finds immortality. This is interesting. Why we will be looking for him all the time from now on? Because we find immortality through that reflection. We feel the infinity and eternity of the being. And once we experience that, nothing can keep us away anymore. Atmana vindate viryam. This is also a very puzzling statement. By the self one finds the force to attain. Literally, viryam, the force, atmana, by the self vindate, one gets. One gets or discovers the force by the self. Vidyaya, and by the knowledge, one enjoys or discovers immortality. So the force, they say, this inbuilt knowledge, the force, the power, is the projection of the being, whereas the consciousness is the projection of knowledge, or knowledge is projection of consciousness. So we have these two again, self and the Lord.
Please, Vladimir, can you please repeat that? By the self, one gets the force. Is what does that translate?
It's the self, yeah, the self, the being, the beingness in us. Yes, the force is something connected with the being more than with consciousness. It's the projection through the consciousness of being. Yeah. So what is force? If I push something, yeah, I have to push it with being. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The being has to participate. So I push with my body. This is the force, let us say, just to have a kind of physical understanding. But with knowledge, one realizes the immortality of the being. So this is again self and the Lord. They are constituents, the being and consciousness. These two are fundamental, intrinsic, irreducible, realities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Being and awareness of this being. And then, iha cheda veditatha satyamasti. If here one comes to that knowledge, then one truly is. It's quite obvious. If we come to this knowledge, we will be truly are. And nachati havedit. And if one doesn't come, if here one comes not to that the knowledge, then great is the perdition. Mahati vinashti. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichityadhiraha pretyasman lokadam rita bhavanti. The wise distinguish that in all kinds of becomings, that presence of the being, force, and consciousness knowledge. And they pass forward from this world and become immortal. It's a good place to stop.
Very profound and lots to think.
Yes, yes. Kenna is so luminous, beautiful. It appeals to our mind. It's closer to us than anything else because of this practicality of the faculties. And of course, without Sri Aurobindo's commentaries, we would not understand much, really. We would understand something, but not so much as with these commentaries, especially on these Pratibodha Viditam Matam Amritatvam. It's an amazing commentary that Brahman wants to be known to us, and he builds the means by which he can be known. It's very similar to when somebody asked the mother, should we read Savitri or not? We don't understand. Mother says, read, because Savitri itself will build the means of understanding that content. So this is exactly the same story. Yes? The spirit wants to be known, and he writes the Savitri for us to build all the instruments of understanding, and it will build in us through reflection, through perception, through dwelling on it, through being with it. through giving it space in our consciousness constantly. It
Mm.
will join us.
Are you planning to do Savitri with us?
Well, there was an idea. Yes, we
Please.
may come to it again. Yes, Ananda is doing so. I just don't want to
Mm.
clash with that.
Yeah, I
What he
understand.
does.
But that's going to take a long time for him to finish it.
Oh yeah, Fi- nobody speaks about finishing Savitri. I read. I have Russian group. We read a page a week. We already have 8 years, and we are in the book two. So
Yeah.
we are not planning to finish it in this life.
Yeah, that's true. The joy lies in being with it in the process.
Absolutely, and there's so much knowledge one
Yeah.
receives from it that I don't know whether we will ever even come
Yes,
close to one page of that knowledge. Yeah.
that's true. I wish I knew Russian, but I don't.
No, we are translating from English and we discuss how it is, how to translate, what it means, because they need also, we also learn English like this, you know,
Yes,
with
that's true.
Savage.
That's what Mother also said, that you must read it to learn the English, learn the knowledge.
Yeah, it's such a profound, beautiful, luminous English, which yeah, we learn from Sri Aurobindo. Great. Okay, we can stop here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Any questions or something? Stacy or Sandy? No?
No, I just want to piggyback on what Jayastri said is that it was just really profound. And I think I'm starting to be comfortable with only seeing a glimpse. Whereas I think I was thinking, when am I going to understand more? And now I say, oh, maybe a glimpse is all I get, and that's okay. And then I'll get another glimpse, maybe.
Absolutely. By the way, when you said about glimpse, it is exactly that what Sri Aurobindo says. This knowledge comes to us with lightning, like lightning, you know, like a glimpse.
Mm.
And then if we are receptive, if our faculties of consciousness are not seeking it as an object, yeah, to realize, but sense it, they turn within and become, as he says, consciously passive to receive that glimpse, yeah,
Ah,
within themselves. They are not seeking their self-satisfaction anymore. They are as we are usually in our
yeah.
life. Yeah, we are always constantly seeking to satisfy our senses, our seeing, hearing, beautiful music, harmonious this, picture, colors, shapes, touches, comfort, all the time feeding. We are feeding senses. Yeah, but if they refuse to feed themselves in that egoistic sense and turn within and look for that light, so these glimpses come once in a while, and then they have to wait for another glimpse. And sometimes we are very impatient that nothing comes, yeah. So
Yes.
we start again satisfying senses, and we lose that.
Wow.
That, but if we wait, it will start coming more often until that rain of the supreme light will go through all the indriyas to the surface, and then we will be totally fulfilled. Only then our senses can be satisfied, by the
Oh,
way.
it's
We
wonderful.
do not know about that. We think that we can satisfy them with these peanuts from outside. It's not satisfiable for them. It's quite interesting. And that's why we all fail. We fail because there are gaps between these glimpses. Yeah. Oh, I got a glimpse, but where is another glimpse? There is no other glimpse for a long time. Yes. So I have to wait and to be patient. And patience is not the strongest characteristic of man.
Hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to have a lot of patience, as Mother says, for this path. And then it will grow on us. Even if we are not patient and make many mistakes, we also learn by mistakes. We
Yes.
see where it leads us. It leads us into another direction where there is total disaster, no happiness. You have everything and you are not happy. How come? You received everything, you have all the instruments of happiness and you're not happy. What is going on? Right? So there must be some other answer. We have to look into that. And then we try to imitate happiness. We start, boosting it up, saying, oh, so nice and so good, and you were so right, and this and that. We exaggerate things. Even exaggeration doesn't help, doesn't give real happiness. So we learn by mistakes.
Very true.
Great. Okay, I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. See you. Bye.
See you. Thank you.